So I need your attention here, okay? We're going to talk about sustainable development.
I would say the vision of the World Youth Alliance is of personal excellence. You see all of these young people from all around the world. They care about others, they care about the world.
We all have the same mission because we all want to change the world. We all want to change our societies.
Everyone's talking about human rights, but no one knows why they're protecting them.
They're looking for answers. Who am I? Do I actually matter?
How can I really implement human dignity in my day-to-day life?
Just that idea that if you believe in something enough and you work hard enough, you can really change the world with something as simple as the idea of the dignity of the human person.
If you can teach people lessons of human dignity, there will be a lot less massacres or genocide. Which is why principles that WYA stands for, which is equality and dignity for every human being, is very important. Because unless you know why you're fighting for something, I don't think that goal can be achieved in the short term or even in the long term.
WYA is really making me see the beauty in a person despite everything else and making it something more than just ideology or a theory, putting it into practice and really kind of starting a revolution.
I think there is an urgency in terms of artwork. I don't see anyone else doing the work the World Youth Alliance is doing. Freedom is this huge burden of responsibility, but also power in that sense that through ideas you're shaping your surroundings and trying to sculpt them towards something better.
Human dignity is how he is to improve himself for what is true and what is beautiful.
It's definitely an urgent time to point out those inconsistencies in our different ideologies and show that we need to be consistently affirming the value of human life at all levels, otherwise we all become vulnerable.
Organizations like World Youth Alliance have to exist because there's a constant need for someone to stand up for the little guy, the person that has no voice, and that's what World Youth Alliance does.
The World Youth Alliance aims to educate young people on the dignity of the human person and to build solidarity among the youth from developed and developing countries. Signing up to become a WYA member is super easy. Number one, you have to be between the ages of 10 to 30. And second, you have to sign the World Youth Alliance Charter on our website. And after that, you'll be part of hundreds of opportunities around the world and you'll meet a lot of new friends. There are many opportunities for young people to get involved with WYA. First is through our advocacy-related events by studying our WYA white papers or representing WYA at international institutions. Second is through our educational projects like undergoing our certified training program, becoming an intern, or bringing the human dignity curriculum to your school or youth community. And the third is through our cultural initiatives like participating in our regional arts forum or through our Manhattan International Film Festival. WYA members should do the CTP because it allows them to understand deeper the dignity of the human person, and it gives them various reading, studying how movements around the world have really helped in terms of promoting the dignity of the person and what are some of the problematic movements that have led to various challenges in our history. First is really enjoying the readings. The readings are really rich and there's so many great authors that we've compiled through the CTP. So it's really important for you to enjoy the experience and not rushing through it. The second is for you to discuss these ideas with your family, with your friends, so that you're able to also get their ideas and their thoughts. And the third is if you need any help, just asking for your mentors to really help you and coach you in the process. WYA members can apply to our internship program, which is available online. It is available in all of our regional offices around the world, and we have limited slots, so I encourage you to sign up today. The World Youth Alliance invests in really educating young people on the dignity of the human person. And this is important because when young people around the world understand that they have worth, that the people around them have the same worth that they have, they're able to create excellent decisions and they're able to contribute towards the flourishing of their societies and their countries. First, you have to undergo the Certified Training Program, or the CTP, and once you've passed the training program, you can inform your regional director, and they will help you with the next steps needed for you to become a chapter leader for your own school or for your country. Yes, definitely. We have a program for them, and it's called the Human Dignity Curriculum. It's a personal identity program that helps children understand their dignity and how they can make excellent decisions. Yes, of course, you can become a World Youth Alliance friend. WYA Friends help WYA through various ways, by becoming a donor or by introducing us to youth communities or to schools all around the world. We'd like to invite you to join the 1 million young people all around the world and become part of the World Youth Alliance. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. See you around! Hello to all of our World Youth Alliance friends and members from all around the world. Welcome to the third episode of Live with the World Youth Alliance President. We're very excited to have all of you again for this third episode. And if it's your first time, this is a weekly series that we started about 2 weeks ago to showcase WYA staff from all around the world. So you can get to know the people behind the amazing projects of the World Youth Alliance. We would like to know if you're listening or you're watching with us today. Please comment your name and your country, and please also feel free to write down your questions and your thoughts throughout the program, and we'll be answering them throughout the show. Today, we have prepared very special guests, but before that, we are going to start with a World Youth Alliance trivia. So as many of you know, the World Youth Alliance is already 21 years old this year, and the WYA Trivia segment is for us to get to know some of the interesting things that have been happening around the world. And today, our trivia is, what is the newest World Youth Alliance chapter in the Africa region? Which country? The newest WYA Africa chapter is located in which country? For those who are not familiar with WYA chapters are a local branch of the World Youth Alliance, and they work closely with the regional office to implement various programs in their country. So if you know the answer to this question, or if you just want to guess, please type them down in the comment section and write your name and your country, and we'll see who wins later at the end of the program. All right, so let's get started. So as you can see in the caption, this week is going to be Africa. It's time for Africa. And so we invited the World Youth Alliance Africa staff members, Cynthia and Kevin. Welcome to the show, team WYA Africa. Welcome, Cynthia and Kevin. How are you both doing today?
Thank you.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kevin. I'm very excited. I'm actually wearing my favorite Kenyan shirt. And I'm surprised that both of you aren't wearing your Kenyan shirts. You know, you have to be proud that you're Kenyans. I know both of you are very proud, but I'm just really happy with the shirt. When I wear the shirt, I just feel like I'm back in Kenya. Like all the happy memories I've had in Kenya just comes to life. All right, so are you excited, Cynthia and Kevin?
Very excited.
All right, great. So without much further ado, let's start with the both of you just sharing with all of us your World Youth Alliance journey. Like, when did you join WYA? what made you join WYA? And yeah, just share with us very briefly your WYA journey, especially for our WYA Africa members who are meeting you for the very first time.
Okay. I guess I'll go fast because I know Cynthia's short story is not so short.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll give you the short version. So I met World Youth Alliance back in 2015. This time I was still in campus, like I was in my last year of university. So I was running a small business, and I was just seated in my shop, just scrolling through my phone and looking for like opportunities. So I came across the certified training program being advertised on Opportunities for Africans page. And when I clicked on it, I saw World Youth Alliance, and I was like, oh, so there's a global coalition of young people. So I went further to the website, just read through the website and read through the charter, and I was like, oh, these are good ideas. I think I agree with these ideas. So I signed up to be a member, also signed up for the certified training program, and started the program in September. So when I started the program, I received an email that there was an emerging leaders conference that was happening that year, the same year, in November. So at this time, I wasn't in Nairobi, but it was happening in Nairobi. So I was in another county. It's like 4 hours drive from Nairobi. So I came to Nairobi for the conference, and I really enjoyed the conference. And I was looking for like, are there more opportunities for young people to engage in World Youth Alliance? So I learned about the internship program that was starting the next year in January, and I just applied for the internship program and went back to Nyahururu, continued my business. I graduated the same year. Then in December, I got an email for an interview. So I came back to Nairobi, went to the WYA office, met Vanessa and Obeja, had a really good interview with them, and went back to my business. I wasn't like so enthusiastic about it at that time, but I just went back and continued doing my thing. Then later that December, I received an email that I had been accepted for the internship program. So I was happy, but I was still confused because now I have a business that I'm supposed to be running, and then I also have an opportunity to join the internship program. So I just decided, okay, let me join the program. So I got somebody to work on the shop, and came to Nairobi in January. Joined the program till April, and I was just fell in love with World Youth Alliance, and I just never left. Even after my internship, I was always there. Anything that was happening for World Youth Alliance, I was always there volunteering and just helping out the way I can. Then in 2017, so that was 2016, January to April when I did my internship. 2017, February, I joined in as WYA staff. And 3 years later, here I am. As I say, the rest is history. Yeah.
That's great, Kevin.
So that's my WYA journey.
Thank you for sharing your WYA story and your WYA love story. I was just about to ask, like when, that moment, when you first met WYA, and I think you said it was 2016. Is that correct, Kevin?
The first time was 2015.
The very first time, 2015.
Yep.
Okay. I know you don't want to reveal your age, so it's okay. Let's just keep the numbers track that. So thank you, Kevin. I know Cynthia is now very excited to share her own WYA love story. So please go ahead, Cynthia.
Okay. I'm going to give a summarized version. Because Kevin has said my version is actually quite long. I met the World Youth Alliance while I was in campus. I was in my last year of campus, and I was waiting to graduate. And it was actually introduced to us as a class by a friend of ours. And she told us that here's an organization for young people. They offer internships, and there's actually an event coming up, the Africa Arts Forum, where you could interact with the directors and even talk to them about the opportunity, and they will tell you how to go about applying for the internship. So my first interaction with WYA was actually through a classmate of mine, and it was by her inviting us for the Africa Arts Forum. And at the time, I would have never thought in a million years that this is what my journey with WYA was going to be, that I would be at this place in WYA right now in my life. And I remember applying for the internship, it being my first application for any serious thing. I've not graduated. I've never worked a day in my life. I'm so green. I know nothing about like the real world outside of school and curriculums and schedules and that kind of thing. And I'm so grateful because even my interview experience for the internship was so good. I learned so much about myself, about what the world expects of young people and how much power we actually have as young people. Even with the little that we think we have and the lack of experience, we still have so much to offer with our sense of innovation and ingenuity and how much we can do as young people, even for just this continent. So I did my internship with 7 other people. I was actually the youngest in my internship. And of course, that scared me a bit, but it really pushed me to just rush the things that just to actually start the things that I wanted for myself career-wise. So I met WYA in campus through a classmate, and I did the internship, and I stayed longer than I thought I would because we lost the regional director of operations while I was on internship. So we stayed until the following batch, and that made me interact with more people in WYA, learn more about the programs, finish the certified training program, which was amazing, which it's a strange thing to say, but the certified training program actually introduced me to myself. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it did. And it was such a great experience. I feel so nostalgic when I tell this story and actually get quite emotional because I look at myself now and the person that I was at that time, and it surprises me. These are 2 completely different people. So I've had a wonderful journey. And yeah, that's my WYA story. I am now the regional director, which also I could not have predicted. And I started working in WYA in 2017. And it's been amazing, amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. Kevin, do you approve of that shortened version of Cynthia's WYA story?
Yes, it's approved. That's the shortest version I've ever had.
Oh my
Very
God.
good, very good.
It's a long story.
Yeah, I think Kevin and Cynthia really brought a lot of beautiful, beautiful reflections, for all of us as WYA members. Actually, like Kevin, many of our WYA members, really, and Cynthia also, they meet WYA, in different ways, online, through their friends. And, that's really the beauty of WYA because we meet WYA in different ways. And the magic is, once we meet WYA, like we never leave, you stay and you just discover a whole new WYA family. And, like Cynthia says, you just discover a lot about yourself that, you've never thought before. And so hopefully for the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be able to discover more about Kevin and Cynthia for today's episode. For my next question, I'd like each of you to, again, answer, just very briefly or shorter than your previous answers. So please complete the sentence. If it wasn't for WYA, I would have never. So I think, who would like to start this time?
I can still go.
Start. Okay.
Okay.
So if it was not for WYA, I would have never met, first of all, my best friend, Wangeshi Mwaniki, who I only met
Shout out
because
to
of
Wangeshi.
Shout out to Wangeshi. And many other friends who I've been able to make through WYA, who are actually a huge part of my life now. I would have never met my current mentor, friend, role model, Patricia, my predecessor, the former regional director.
Shout out to Patricia.
Shout out to Patricia. So I've met really amazing people who've motivated me, who've given me an even better sense of direction in my life. And that would not have been possible without the World Talent.
Thank you, Cynthia. Kevin, how about you?
If it wasn't for WYA, I will never have met the Lord. I'm kidding.
Kevin, are you joking? Is that a joke, Kevin?
Okay, on a serious note though, if it wasn't for WYA, I think I
We're
would
serious
never have
here, Kevin.
met.
This is a serious program.
Okay, I think if it wasn't for WYA, I would never have met this wonderful young people across like Africa who are doing like really amazing things. So every time that I'm doing the trainings with young people from across Africa, I see young people who really want to see change, and they're out there to see that the world is a better place. So that's really important. And also just the WYA staff, the amazing people from around the world. It's just wonderful interacting with them. So yeah, if it wasn't for WYA, I don't think I would have really met all these wonderful people.
Thank you, Kevin and Cynthia. Yeah, I think I really agree with both of you. You know, all these friendships that we have with, our fellow YM members, our fellow staff members, they're really precious. They're gifts, and it even makes the journey much more beautiful. Having all of these people working with us in the organization. So thank you for your answers. So now we actually prepared a surprise segment for today's episode. Because Africa is a very special place in my heart. I've visited Kenya, I think 3 times already. At least 2, but I think 3. Did I visit 2 times or 3 times? I forgot already. But I feel like I've visited it like a lot of times already. For today's episode, we have a little surprise. And as I mentioned, traveling. Traveling is really one of the most meaningful and memorable experiences for every staff member. We meet a lot of people, we see new places, and it really allows us to meet the members in person. All right. So today, I think Cynthia is a little bit nervous. Are you nervous, Cynthia, for the surprise?
No. I hope you're not singing.
No worries, no singing. No singing yet. Okay. All right, so for our surprise, we actually selected one travel photo from each of you to share to our Y members today. And you are going to talk about that photo and share with us, like some of your experiences. And I might also just ask some questions to provoke that conversation. All right. So I think our tech team is ready to pull out. And I think, let's see. So this is the first photo, and it's of Cynthia. There you go, Cynthia. You look a little younger here, and this was actually Cynthia's, I think, first trip abroad. She visited Rome as part of a YA colloquium that we organized with other Y members from Asia, from Middle East, and it was an amazing experience. Rome is one of my favorite places in the world. And Cynthia, please share with us, like, how did it feel, preparing, to go for this YA trip, and how was the experience, in Rome? Not every YA Africa member, gets to travel with YA. So share with us, like, how was the experience? What were some of the most memorable things that you have? Maybe like share with us in around 2 minutes. I know you have a lot to share, but maybe the highlights, like about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so as Lord said, this was my first trip abroad. Had I actually ever been on a plane? Yes, I think I had. But to leave the country, to leave the continent, no, it was my first time. It was amazing. And that's such a huge way to experience being abroad, being in Rome, and then being there to represent your country. It was amazing. It's something that I applied for, not thinking I would get. I was nominated by the regional office, but I had to write a research paper on friendship and marriage and vocation and being a self-gift. And even writing that paper was such an eye-opener for me, because there's so many things I didn't know about friendship and even marriage that I learned about even just doing the research and having to present it in front of all these other young people. Of course, there were people from across the world, like all over the world. So there was people from other African countries, but there was also people from like Indonesia, the Philippines, and it was amazing. It was a great experience, and to have gotten this opportunity just out of being a World Youth Alliance member and someone who believes in the mission and wants to be a part of the work that the World Youth Alliance does was a blessing. It was a huge blessing in my life, and it was so exciting. I ate so many new things, and Lord is the best person to travel with. Because we were out at midnight eating ice cream during winter in the streets of Rome and not even feeling the cold. It was actually my first winter experience. So as an African, you know the cold that is here in Kenya, June and July. Trust me, winter is 100 times worse. You're wearing a jacket, you're wearing socks and boots and everything, but your feet are still frozen and your cheeks are frozen. The tip of your nose is dying. But I learned a lot on this trip. And like I said, WYA has really introduced me to myself because I've really been pushed out of my cocoon of just my comfort zone, and I've had to think outside of the things that I'm used to and just have a different perception on what life is and what I can offer the world as a young person. So I'm so grateful. That's the summarized version.
Awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, I was actually wondering if you were going to mention the gelato that we had at midnight, and you already mentioned it. So it was one of the most memorable things. But our members here, they were there really to learn, to share with each other. But at the end of the day, they really were able to meet new friends from all around the world, and it was such a great group of young people. Thank you, Cynthia. So now we're going to project the photo from Kevin. I actually had a hard time looking for a photo of Kevin. I had to stalk his Instagram, his Facebook. I had to look around, through the years, all of our photos together. It was quite difficult. Kevin is a little bit of a private person, so he doesn't post as much. But we found at least there was one photo that I wanted to show, but maybe that will affect our friendship, after this. So I selected a different photo. But I do have a follow-up photo question as part of this photo. And here's Kevin's photo.
Okay.
Let's show Kevin's travel photo.
Yeah, this is a photo from last year in New York. So I remember we had gone for a site visit in Brooklyn, and it was not so busy day, so we decided to go out with Cynthia and our Europe staff. And there isn't much I can say about this photo because it was just a fun day out with friends and just getting away from all the work from the ISF and just being out there and just visiting Brooklyn just to see what's happening around there. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, this is a beautiful photo, and I actually had a follow-up question because I remember that Kevin has been to New York a few times already, like Cynthia too. And in one of Kevin's trip to New York, he actually almost missed his shuttle to the airport. So he almost missed his flight back to Kenya, and I think I would allow Kevin to share with us the story of. There we go. We even have some background music of the plane. I think the plane already left. So Kevin, tell us, why did you almost miss this airport shuttle? What happened? Were you sleeping or what were you doing?
Okay, this was in 2017, I think. I remember we had a really busy schedule. So that Saturday, I was supposed to leave that Saturday in the evening. And that was the only time I got to go out, and I needed to buy some books. So I left the WYA house and went to the Strand bookstore. I was just at the shop and just shopping around, and I didn't realize that the time was almost up. So by the time I realized the time was up, I just went and paid for the books that I'd picked, and I hadn't even finished packing. So I rushed back to the metro, took the train back to the house, and I got to the house and I had just started packing, and then I see this guy, the super shuttle that I was supposed to take to the airport. I look down the window and I see the guy is arriving, and I'm not even finished packing. So
Wow, Kevin.
I quickly just threw everything in the suitcase. I didn't even like organize anything. I just threw everything and just rushed downstairs. So on my way down, I met Anna and Claire. They were actually coming up, and they were like, there's a shuttle guy downstairs waiting for Patricia, because we had booked under Patricia's name, the super shuttle, waiting for Patricia. I'm like, Patricia left, but I think that's mine. So yeah, I'll just go and get it. So I rushed downstairs, put my suitcase. Yeah, and then went back up just to change a shirt.
That's amazing, Kevin. I will never forget the story. But hopefully after that, I think the most important story here is that for the stories that you made it, to your flight and you made it back to Kenya. I think that's the most. That's the good news, at the end. And hopefully after that you didn't experience that anymore, Kevin. Hopefully you had better time for your next travels.
I think I even left some of my luggage in New York at that time, a suitcase.
Oh wow. Wow. I think you didn't leave your passport. I know there's still a lot of things, we can talk about, for both of you really, there's a lot of stories, a lot of photos I wish I could share, but time is running out. So I just wanted to ask, either one of you, just in a minute, share with us, what are you most excited about for the Africa region? Please share with us some of your upcoming events and programs that you wish to invite your members and even some of your alumni.
We're so excited about seeing how much growth we've had in the region. And even through this pandemic and how difficult life has been for all of us, just trying to survive through what we're going through globally, we've had so much interaction with our members across the continent. It's so encouraging to see how young people are on fire to bring positive change to their societies and their communities. And I think it's very, very encouraging that they want to bring this change through the World Youth Alliance, educate the young people in their countries, in their spaces about dignity and such. And we have two main activities coming up for the remaining end of this quarter. So we want to execute these activities in September. The first activity is the Africa Emerging Leaders Conference, which is the conference that we do for young people, where we give them a platform to discuss contemporary issues that are in our society today, and how can young people contribute to these things, and what can young people learn from the themes that we choose. So the Africa Emerging Leaders Conference this year is happening on the 18th of September, and it's going to be about mental health. So we want young people to have this conversation, and we want to discuss how can we support one another with this knowledge of the dignity that we have. The other activity that is coming up in September is the FEM webinar. So FEM is one of our programs. FEM stands for Fertility Education and Medical Management. We're doing a webinar that is 3 days long, but it's only 1 hour per day. We are doing the first one on the 12th of September. It's on a Saturday at 11 a.m. The second one is on the 19th, and the third one is on the 26th. So all this information about the upcoming activities is on our website. It's also on our social media pages. So we encourage young people to sign up for these activities, and let's do more together. Let's interact, and let's talk about how we can even run more programs within your countries for the young people in your countries. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Cynthia. And of course, I invite our members to follow you guys on social media, on Instagram, and Facebook, and you can learn more about all of these upcoming projects and events. So now we are going to have a quick pause and just have a shout out to some of our members who are watching us live today. And again, it's just overwhelming because Our members in Africa are just always very enthusiastic to join our WYA programs. Every time we release an invitation, we always receive hundreds of RSVPs from all of our members. So really a shout out to all of our WYA Africa members. So here, let's see who are joining us today. I know we have a few alumni. So here we have David from Kenya. David is a former intern in Kenya and also in New York. And David is also a special WYA member because he made me a lot of mandazi when he was and I love mandazi. David, I miss your mandazi. Okay. We also have another intern alumna. Hey, Faith. Faith says, I am excited. So awesome to see all of you. Hashtag it's time for Africa. Hashtag we are WYA. Hello, Faith. Thanks for joining us. We also have another member from Uganda, Rehima. Thank you for joining us for today's FB Live. Cynthia and Kevin, you can also feel free to shout out or call their names if you know them. We also have another Kenyan member. And we also have a shout out here from the WYA Europe Director of Operations, Magdalena. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for dropping by, Maggie. Greetings to all of the WYA Europe staff. And we also have Karen. Karen is the former WYA staff. Hello, Karen. Thank you for joining us. Lots of love to Cynthia and Kevin. And of course, Cynthia's best friend, Wangeshi.
Hi, Wangeshi.
Thank you, Wangeshi. And also another WYA member, Sharon. Sharon was an intern also in the Africa office in 2009, and she also shares that she had a lot of wonderful memories. Thank you for joining us today, Sharon. Wow, we have so many interns joining. We also have another member who is joining us today. Demi, thank you for joining us. So nice to have you. Demi is also a member from the Philippines. Thank you, Demi. It's great. You know, we have members from Asia, from Europe, from Africa. We have such a global audience. And I think now is actually lunchtime in Kenya. So, thank you for all of you, for joining us, even though it's lunchtime in Kenya. And speaking of lunchtime in Kenya, that again brings a lot of memories, a lot of good food, especially chapati, pilau. Oh my gosh, all the good food that we have in Kenya. And of course, Patricia is here. Welcome, Patricia. Patricia is the former regional director of operations and also former regional director. Thanks for joining us for this live series, Patricia. We miss you, Patricia. And we also have another WYA member, Balkis from Tunisia. Thank you for joining us, Balkis. Wow, we have so many members watching us today. Thank you to all of you. And I know we're running out of time, so now I would actually proceed with our next segment, which is we're going to answer the WYA trivia. And I know Cynthia and Kevin both know the answer. And our WYA trivia for this week is, what is the latest WYA chapter in Africa? Which country is it located? And the correct answer for this trivia is Ethiopia. Of course, Ethiopia. If you've been following our newsletter, so Karen got the correct answer for this trivia. And also Abel. Thank you, Abel, for your answer. And I want to shout out to our chapter leader, Tamrat, and to all of our Ethiopian members. I know Kevin and Cynthia certified a lot of new trainers and also members from Ethiopia. So we are going big in Ethiopia. So if you are from Ethiopia, prepare for the WYA Ethiopia chapter events that are coming up very, very soon. All right. So thank you, Cynthia and Kevin. I can't believe our show is already over. I still want to talk to both of you about a lot of things. But thank you for joining me today. It was really great joy to have both of you for this third episode of Live with the WYA President. I'm so glad to have both of you.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Lord. It was so short. Should have been 1.5 hours.
Oh
It was
wow,
a lot
yes,
of fun
definitely.
though.
Next time we'll bring some food also. Maybe we can do some cooking or something.
Yeah.
Um, but for
There's some
now, I
money.
would like to invite. I would like to thank Cynthia and Kevin again, and I would like to invite all young people who are not yet World Youth Alliance members to join the global movement today by visiting the WYA website, wya.net/get involved. I invite you to join the 1 million young people in over 200 countries and territories around the world. And joining the World Youth Alliance, our global movement, is actually for free. And after you join WYA, I also invite you to undergo our certified training program, which is also for free. And you can learn more by visiting wya.net/CTP. Be the first to know about our future events. Make sure to follow us on social media, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you, everyone, to all of our WYA members, WYA friends, for joining us for today's episode. We look forward to seeing you again next week for the fourth episode of this 6-part series. And next week, our guest is going to be our WYA Latin America Program Officer, Paula Lopez. So from Kenya, we are going to fly to Colombia. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye! Asante sana, kwaheri!
Kwaheri.